welcome to this week's Kids Church at Home. Well, this week's special shout out goes to Molly and Abigail and Ivy. And our theme this week is mental health. This week, the United Church is celebrating Mental Health Sunday. And so we're going to explore and unpack a little bit about mental health too in our Kids Church video. So why mental health? Well, we often work on our faith and spiritual health when we're together and doing activities and exploring stories. But our spiritual health is part of our overall health, which includes our mental and emotional health and our physical health. And when we can work on all of those together, we work for a better self. And God is at the heart of all of those pieces. God is offering us hope and resilience and a community of support as we build ourselves a stronger network and hope for the future. So let's get into exploring our mental and emotional health this week. Well, for today's story, I've pulled another book out of my library that I'm going to share with you today. This one is called Everybody is Different on Everybody Street. And the poem in the book is by Cherie Fitz, and the art that accompanies the poem is by Emma Fitzgerald. And this was written a few years ago as a fundraiser for the Nova Scotia Hospital Foundation. And the author, Cherie Fitz, said that she really wanted to lift up mental health as well as health in general. And so as we read this story, I want you to look at all the different people who exist on this street. And I wonder if you identify with any of those people. Are you any of the people who live on Everybody Street? Let's listen and see if you can find yourself, and maybe you can find other people you know on Everybody Street. Everybody's different on Everybody Street. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some lope along giraffe-like, some shuffle hippopotami, some strut about like peacocks, others ostrich shy. Some yap like weak chihuahuas, some flap like cawing crows. Some are meditating dolphins, others tortoise turtles slow. Some thunder walk like elephants, some dance about like ants. Some are wearing purple polka-dotted zebra-striped pants. Yes, some are wearing purple polka-dotted zebra-striped pants. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some live messy as tornadoes, some are paper clipping neat. Some grow juicy red tomatoes, some don't have enough to eat. Some of us walk arabesque, some of us walk jive. Some of us waltz weary, and some of us survive. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some of us hold bags of hope like babies in our arms. Some hop over sidewalk cracks in search of good luck charms. Some are hiding pride inside. We're human helium balloons. Some of us don't love ourselves. Some migrate to the moon. Some of us wear hats of worry, 7 stories high. Most of us are in a hurry, and we often don't know why. And we often don't know why. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some give compliments and bear hugs. Some are aching for applause. All of us are perfect, and all of us have flaws. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some are cuddly koalas looking for some special one. Some of us have families, some of us have none. Some are alligator angry, some orangutans at play. Some are bored as buffaloes, some hummingbirds that pray. Some of us have visions, some of us have schemes. Most of us have wishes, all of us have dreams. If ever you go traveling on Everybody Street, you'll see everybody's different than everyone you meet. Some prefer the sunshine, some live in the dark. Some of us have shelter, some sleep in the park. Some are mad as thunder, some are sad as rain. Most of us are glad at times, and all of us know pain. So, if ever you go traveling on everybody's street, this is what you come to understand. You are everybody and everyone you meet. That's what everybody knows down on everybody's street. Yes, everyone is traveling on everybody's street, and everyone is everyone and anyone you meet. I really like the line, we are all perfect and we all have flaws. And you know what I like to imagine, this everybody's street? I imagine this is God's street, and every one of us is on that street. And every one of us, with all our perfection and with all of our flaws, are included and loved and belong on God's street, on everybody's street. And what's interesting is the book says we are everyone on that street. And we might not feel like everyone on that street right now, but at some point we might be somebody else on that street. And so we learn to walk in other people's shoes. We learn to understand and to see other people and all of their paths, and to know that we're all together in this life with God. We're all together on this everybody's street. And no matter what our flaws are that we bring to that street, it brings a party of difference, doesn't it? And we all contribute to each other, and we strengthen each other with whatever flaws and perfections and gifts that we bring. So find your place on everybody's street this week. Who are you on that street? What do you bring to that street? And what are the things that you need from other people on that street to help you too? So for our activity this week, I thought we would do a little bit of feeling art. What is that? Well, we're going to do some doodling and some art, but we're going to base our art and our doodles on the feelings that we carry inside of us. And so we can explore all of our feelings and what they feel like and what we think they might look like in our activity. So for this today, we don't need very much, because I know that in this area, stores are still closed and it's hard to go get extra supplies. So all we're going to need is some paper, and if you have scrap paper, that's fine. Use scrap paper, use the back. I'm going to use a ruler and a pencil to do some drawing to start. I'm going to use a plate to help me draw a circle, because I'm not very good at doing circles just freehand, so I'm going to use a plate to trace it. And if you can find something around to trace to help you make a circle, that would be great. And then I'm going to borrow Madeline's markers, because she's got really wonderful markers to color with. And that's all we need today. So let's get into this. So in this activity, we're going to create an emotions color wheel. This is a fun way for us to explore our feelings, the feelings that we have in us, and all the different feelings that we can have, sometimes all at the same time. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our round circle, or whatever is going to help you make a circle on your page, and we're going to trace around it. So this is going to be our wheel. There we go. There's my circle. And now I'm going to divide my circle into 6 pie pieces. So I'm using my ruler to do this. And the first thing I'm going to do is roughly draw a line down the middle, like so. Now I have 2 pieces to my pie. I want 6, so I'm going to add 2 more lines. I'm going to put another line about there, and then keeping my ruler where those 2 lines meet, I'm going to add a 3rd line. And now I have 6 pieces to my pie. the next thing we want to do is let's take some time and see if we can come up with 6 different emotions that we can add into our pie pieces. So one different feeling for each pie. So the first one I'm going to add is joy. There's one feeling, and you can come up with your own 6 feelings. So joy for me is 1. And then, well, we have anger, and we have fear. I wonder, what other feelings do you have? Sometimes there's sadness. Sometimes there's silliness. Oops, silliness. And sometimes, you know what the last one I'm going to add in? I'm going to add in love. Sometimes I feel lots of love for something I'm doing or the people that I'm with. So there are my 6 feeling words. I have joy, anger, fear, sadness, silliness, love. I imagine you might have different feelings that you thought of. So make sure that you add the ones that you want to into your emotion wheel. They don't have to be the same as mine. Okay, now we have thought about 6 of our feelings. I'm going to take the first one, which is going to be joy. And now I'm going to fill in this pie piece with colors and doodles and pictures that make me think of joy. So I'm going to fill in this pie piece now with my joy colors. So there is my joy pie piece. I often think of balloons on a summer day and the warmth and floating and just that sense of being full when I feel joyful. So I thought I would add some balloons for my joy piece. Now, the next one I'm going to go to is anger, and I'm going to now fill in anger with the colors and doodles and pictures that make me think of anger. Let's move on to the next one. Well, my anger is a little bit more abstract. It's more of a doodle with colors than it is a picture. My anger sometimes makes me think of jagged edges and dark colors and maybe red seething anger. So that's how I thought my anger might feel. The next one I'm going to fill in is going to be my fear. I wonder what colors and pictures I might have with fear. Sometimes for me, fear feels kind of chaotic and busy and crazy and shaky inside. So I've got all kinds of wiggly, squiggly lines for fear. I wonder what fear feels like for you. What kind of drawings or colors did you use for some of those feelings? Well, here's my next one. My next one is sadness. I'm going to fill in my pie chart for sadness now. Just as my joy felt like balloons in the air, sometimes my sadness feels like rain and those deep cloudy days that just feels hard to move through and you don't want to do anything. That's my sadness. Okay, the next one for me is silliness. I'm going to fill in my silliness now. Well, for me, silliness feels like lots of silly faces and dancing and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I've added for my silliness pie. I wonder what your silliness looks like. Well, the last one I have to do is my love pie piece. You'll notice I've been erasing the words as I go, and I might add them in later, but I'm just erasing them so I can do my drawing. They don't get in the way, and then I'll add them in later again. There is my emotion color wheel, or my feeling color wheel. The last one being love, which to me feels like a warm cup of hot chocolate and a sunny day. You just want to wrap yourself all up with that love. So these are some of the feelings that I sometimes have in me. And I wonder what the feelings are that you sometimes have in you, and how you might picture those, or what colors you might choose for those. But our color wheel isn't quite finished, because these are all our feelings, but all of our feelings are held in God's hands. God loves us no matter which feeling, what part of our color wheel or our emotion wheel we are in. So on the outside of our wheel, let's add some pictures to remind us that God is around and holding all of these feelings for us. So those can be, again, colors or pictures or doodles, something to remind you that God is all around this wheel of feelings and holds all of those and knows they are all part of you and loves you for all of them. Well, there we go. This is what I've done. I've added a vine to remember that God is life and God brings life and God surrounds me with all of this life and resilience. And so my color wheel is filled with this vine and flowers and leaves. That's how I felt about God today. But I wonder what pictures, what colors, what doodles you might have added to remind yourself that God is all around and surrounds all of these feelings in your emotion wheel. So I'm just going to finish off by adding my words back in so I remember what each of these are. And then what my emotion wheel will be ready to hang up somewhere. Well, here is my finished emotion color wheel. Look at all those feelings that are there and all the differences between them. I wonder what made you choose which feeling to add into your wheel? I wonder too, can you take your wheel and tell somebody about what it feels like to feel joy for you, what it feels like when you have anger visiting, what it feels like when you feel love, when it feels like when fear is part of your life. And I wonder, what are the situations, what are the events, where in your day or your life do you feel some of these things? These are all feelings that we all have, and I'm guessing that mine look a little bit different from yours because we all experience our feelings in our own way. And all of those ways are okay. But it's really good for us to be able to share how we experience those feelings with others so that others can understand what it is that's really going on inside of us when we say we're feeling joyful right now or we're feeling sad right now. It's also really good to remember that no matter which one of these feelings that we are feeling right now or in the next moment, God is with us for all of them. God holds all of our feelings, values all of our feelings, understands all of our feelings and loves us just the same. We are all perfect in these feelings, even if we feel flawed in these feelings. I wonder how you might use this emotion color wheel or this feeling color wheel in your home. What if you were to hang it up on the fridge, and when you're feeling one of these big feelings, you could put a magnet on it to tell people, I'm feeling that right now. Or maybe at bedtime you can have a conversation. What are the feelings you had that day, and when did you have them? This is a fun way to tell somebody else what it is that you're feeling inside. And maybe it's a safe way or an easier way to show a picture than to try and describe some of those feelings that sometimes we don't have words for. So I hope you take the time and feel your feelings and put them on paper and share them. Share them in all of their perfectness and all of their flawedness, knowing that all of them make up who you are, your experience of the world, and everybody on everybody's street shares these with you in some way. Well, my friends, let us bless each other for this journey down everybody's street that we all take in all of the ways that we are. May you have love in your heart to give. May you have joy in your heart to share. And may you have strength in your heart to lift others up. Until next time, my friends, see ya!